Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to another. So far, I'm calling this a CarPod, like a podcast in my car. I was going to do a car cast, but it reminds me of too much of the word carcass. So we're going to go with a CarPod for now. But anyway, this is basically a podcast I run from my car on my way home from work because that's the only time I really have to record stuff like this. And yeah, I just talk about career stories and stuff like that. And yeah, so make sure this is more of a listen type of thing rather than a watch type of thing. So have me on when you're doing your dishes or chores or on your way into work or whatever. But today I want to talk about why working at Best Buy was one of the best decisions I've ever made. And I don't work at Best Buy anymore, but looking back, that was a very good decision, and I don't know where I'd be right now if I didn't work there. A little backstory on how I got hired into Best Buy. I've always been a tech nerd. I've always loved technology, and I was actually hoping that Best Buy would be one of my first ever jobs. I never really wanted to work in fast food, and I know that's kind of not the greatest thing to say, but I don't know. I just wanted to challenge myself to get a job in some other industry than food. And there were two Best Buy locations near me, and the one that was closest to me is the one that I ended up working at, but it took me 2 attempts to get into that one, and the other one that was not close to me, I didn't end up getting a position there. And I did. So the Best Buy that was further from me, I got an interview at, but didn't get the job. The one that was closer to me, I basically ended up playing phone tag with the hiring manager there, and I didn't even get an interview at that point. But this one time when I walk into Best Buy, I ended up nerding out with this worker there in the camera department nerding out about drones, and we talked about the guy I mentioned in my last CarPod, Devin Supertramp. We both watched him on YouTube, and we just kind of hit it off. And the Best Buy close to me, I don't know how much time, maybe a few weeks have passed at this point. And the Best Buy I ended up getting a job at was getting their camera department revamped. They were getting this whole, they call it the camera experience shop, and they were getting this whole camera department full of experts on every specific camera brand. And they were going to get in a ton of different cameras. Usually when you walk into Best Buy, you find a handful of cameras. But if you're a professional, you're probably just going to not be that impressed when you walk in. But the camera experience shop offered a lot. And I honestly, truly am sad that it's not around anymore like it used to be because, well, let me get into that in a minute. Anyway, so the guy that I had nerded out with at Best Buy, he ended up messaging me. We became friends, and he messaged me, and he said, "Hey, you should apply for a position here because we're getting a new camera department, and it seems like you'd be a really good fit." And I'm like, "Cool." So I did. And I got an interview, and I was actually hired on the spot because everything was happening so quickly. They were getting this camera experience shop set up very quickly. And another thing that was really cool is they actually sent us out to Colorado Springs, Colorado, at this a 5-star hotel or something. To do a week of training with our different camera companies. And ironically, I ended up getting Nikon, which is my least favorite camera brand out there. Get into that later. But yeah, so like I was kind of freaking out a little bit because I got hired on the spot. I actually brought in prints of my favorite photos. I brought prints in for them to look at, say, here, I know cameras. I'm a photographer myself. You should hire me. I'm experienced. So I brought that in, and they loved that. And it was good that I sent in thank you letters, but I really didn't have to do that because they hired me on the spot, but it was still good of me to do. But yeah, a week later, I basically said goodbye to the jobs I was working at the time and didn't even get to put in 2 weeks. And I was off to Colorado for a week. But the reason why this job was like the best thing that happened to me was because it ended up, since I worked in cameras, and it was and still is my career, it ended up being one of the best networking opportunities in disguise I could have ever had. Because all day, every day, all these camera people were coming in for cameras and wanting advice and stuff, and they're people who are like me and have like interests that I do. So a lot of people today that I call my friends and close friends and people I would love to work with are those people who came into Best Buy. They all have those stories where they came in and I helped them at Best Buy. And what's funny is that most of you probably know that Best Buy is a sort of a medium to high pressure sales environment. The employees don't get commission, but they basically get commission without it affecting their pay, basically. Your sales are tracked and all that, and there's so much coaching and all that stuff. And so like when you go into Best Buy and they're all over you, there are a lot of reasons for that. That's all like strategic. But I was not much of a salesman, and it's actually really hard to sell things to people if you're not the right person, which I don't think I was. There's a lot to unpack there. Like I know cameras, but if I'm talking to, they called it a what was it? A 101 customer, a 201 customer, and a 301 customer? Is that what it was? I forget. A 101 customer is like someone who is just coming in for a camera, like for the fun of it. They just want a camera, and they either go on vacation or something and don't want to use your phone. A 201 customer is a customer that is really interested, that's like gaining interest in the field pretty quickly, and they may or may not take it professionally. And a 301 customer is somebody who is basically me, someone who's doing this professionally and basically walks in, knows what they want, you just have to get it for them. So me being a 301 person, it's really hard to talk to 101 customers because you do what's called like technical puke or technical like blah, like you're doing a lot of this technical talk and they're just sitting there like nodding their head, but they don't have a clue what you're talking about, and there's honestly no really connect between you and the customer, but they won't tell you that, but that's what's going on. So those are the people who are really hard to, like, for me to deal with, because I have to, which I love dealing with them. Those are honestly some of my favorite people, but it's really hard to communicate with them because, yeah, you're on completely different ends of the spectrum. Okay, but now where was I going with this? So I was not a good salesman. I knew my stuff. I knew cameras, but it was really hard to convince people to buy cameras that there's just a whole thing. And honestly, to tell you the truth, most of these people are going to buy these cameras off Amazon anyways. Best Buy was always jokingly called the Amazon showroom because it's the only place that you can go and find technology to hold it and to try it out before you buy it. So, yeah, I mean, cameras are something that a lot of people would just order offline, and it was really hard to sell them because of that. But also, honestly, if the way management kind of was, if you weren't selling and hitting your goals, obviously it's your fault. You're doing something wrong. When really, in fact, there's a whole lot. It depends on the customer. There's a lot of different reasons for it. But yeah, I was very knowledgeable and stuff. But I was not a great salesman, I would say. And I was not the highest performing in our department. There was a good handful of us. Gosh, there was, I don't know, was there 10 people in our department? Not all at once, but I want to say there was around 8 to 10. I don't know. I don't remember. But I was definitely not the highest performing one. Part of that I blame for the brand, because there are brands that people lean towards these days. And I did not get hired for the brand I wanted, which still to this day is the same brand, Sony. Canon was the next big one that sold a lot. And our Canon friend, hi Eileen, she was really good at what she did. She was probably a better salesman than I was. But yeah, so it was kind of ironic because I met so many people through Best Buy. In fact, my wife I met through Best Buy because she was good friends with one of my coworkers. But getting back to my last CarPod, my discussion about how I didn't know anybody, Best Buy was a big deal for my my career. It really was. It's where I met most of the people that I work with now. But yeah, the whole thing is just ironic because I would all the time get yelled at for all of us in digital imaging, or DI as we called it, would constantly get talked to by our managers because we would be standing around talking to each other about what we all loved, because that's what you're supposed to do, really. But you're working in a sales environment, so ideally almost none of you are talking to each other unless you are talking about sales goals or whatever, which no one really does, but that's what you're supposed to do. So yeah, it was a very interesting experience, and I'm forever thankful to my friend, his name is Spencer, who helped me get that job. And it's so funny. Sometimes I feel weird. I feel like I'm not trying to say oh, my hero or whatever. But gosh, he's one of those people in my life that I will forever be thankful for, because if it weren't for him deciding, hey, I think this guy would be really good, and reaching out to me, my life would be very different right now. I don't even know if I'd be married or anything like that. So yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I should talk about. Let's see, some insider Best Buy things I can tell you. I don't know, one of the main things, everyone complains that they get annoyed when all the workers keep coming up and asking them how they're doing, and people got angry with that. People would be you are the 20th person that's come up and asked me. That would happen. And like Best Buy is definitely one of those stores where like it's not like Target or Walmart where you just shop on your own and you might never even interact with an employee. Best Buy was designed to be like one of those places where like you have a walking mentor with you, and like you go and you ask questions, and but a hidden reason why, of course, that's like that is because of theft. Because theft is so common, and I mean this is for any store, like all stores, theft is common. But Best Buy, there's a lot of expensive stuff in there, and if the employee bugs people, then they will know they're being watched, and then that's like their way of avoiding theft. Even though networking was one of the biggest things I got from Best Buy, honestly, just like the friendships there, like even people that weren't in the camera department, like there are some good people that worked there. Oh, that's what I was going to say about like COVID and all that. There are some good people that worked there, and it was fun to work with everyone, and we had a really good team, and for the most part, I mean, we all got along and we all enjoyed working with each other. But yeah, like I forget what year I left. Like I can't remember what year it was. It was before COVID though. But COVID like really changed that store, and okay, I'm talking about the Monroe Street store in Toledo. That was the store. Like we would supply the other Best Buy with product because we got like we were just a store that had it all. But COVID changed that, and I think some stuff even happened with that building, like some natural disasters. But like I don't recognize a single person in there. But I mean, obviously, like life moves on and people move on. But like I don't recognize a single person in there anymore, and you can basically go in, and I usually don't get asked if I need help anymore. Like there's not many people there. And the camera department looks a lot different now. Like it's just a lot of things have changed, which happens. But I really do miss the fact that we were the go-to camera store in the area. It was the best. Like I feel like we're kind of back to square one again. There is Cone Camera in Perrysburg though, which I haven't been there in a while. Shout out to my friends at Cone Camera. But they're like the only other Camera Mall in Ann Arbor, but like around here in Toledo, there aren't a lot of options for cameras now. I guess the options I mentioned are still pretty good ones, but like I don't know, we had it going when we in Best Buy. We really did. So I'm definitely gonna miss that. That's why I'm doing this, because I have a lot of knowledge to give, and I don't have a lot of time to give it, or at least the way I would give it is making videos and stuff, but like I barely have time. Like I have so much on my plate still. So I would love to put out like 3 to 10 minute videos about things and throw B-roll in there and footage I've shot, but I just don't have the time. So these car podcasts are my way of just throwing something out there and allowing you to listen to me and learn from there. And if you have any questions or want me to talk about anything, please let me know and I will make an episode. So, all right. Thank you guys for watching once again, and we'll see you for the next one.